Coming at me, I wonder who does it. They can't see the vision, boy, they must be out of focus. That's a real hot album, homie. I wonder who wrote.
Hey guys, so this is part 2 of what if Andrew Garfield Spider-Man was in the MCU. Now, you're gonna be last time I got done explaining how it would change Civil War. How it would change Age of Ultron. Now I'm gonna pretty much describe how would it change basically how would it prevent um Infinity War and Civil War. And then I might get into a little bit of Endgame. So yeah, let's get into the video. So basically, that started off when, we did all that, Age of Ultron stuff. And we skip a couple of skip a couple of months, to the actual story when war starts. So basically, Deku goes there, and, Andrew Garfield. I'm gonna say Peter or Spider-Man. So Peter basically is for the whole entire scene when they track down those people in Crossbones, Spider-Man is in there. He's with Tony. Pretty much Spider-Man is in there. He's more or less in school. Now Peter in his universe is in college, not in high school. So basically, they don't get, well, everything turns out the same. The Moxamath Accords happen. Pretty much everything, plays out the same. Because, Pietro's dead and Spider-Man is in there. So yeah. So basically, they still get the Soviet Accords, and even if it did play out different, they would still have to do the Silver Accords. So they get started. Basically, they get, told that you have to start the Silver Accords, and do it. So Spider-Man is kind of up for it, just a little bit. But yet again, another part of him is saying that he can't really, do this. Pretty much he takes some time to think about this all, and I'm going to actually pull a comic book one, because in the comic book, Spider-Man was a double agent. Spider-Man was really on Captain America's team, but he also got some inside intel on joining Iron Man's team, so that's going to be the same thing. But Spider-Man is not going to be getting caught this time. So basically, Spider-Man, joins Iron Man's team, but also keeps in touch with Cap so he can get him some intel special. So yeah, so Peter goes there, and Peter basically gets ready and gets started. So Peter dons a new outfit for his place. Peter doesn't don his original outfit that he wore when he started being Spider-Man, or his second one in Amazing Spider-Man 2, a new classic one. He dons this suit with brighter colors and more of a little more classic and simpler mask and a spider logo. So he walks in there, and Tony says a pretty cool looking suit. Now his lenses are bigger because they have a lot more tech in them. His lenses can pretty much see through any version of sight, like ultraviolet, anything. Peter can also has radio signaling a mask, so he can pick up signals and talk to people while he's fighting. So yeah, it's pretty much, he has all the abilities and skills as the PS4 Spider-Man as well at the same time, so it's pretty OP. They get started, and pretty much they start fighting. We skip to the whole entire, the plane fighting thing, because something really interesting happened at the plane fight. Anything before the plane fight, so yeah. So they get ready, and they start fighting. So Peter, sorry guys, I just got done with My Hero Academia What If. So Peter runs towards everybody, running the same way how, Peter Parker in the original canon did, still doing the same, weapon up Captain America type of stuff. But when you say Captain America, slightly, so he knows he's not training him. So they get started, and pretty much Peter gets, landed off his butt, gets kicked right in the chest by a Cap. Cap pretty much looks at pretty much Peter saying that no hard feelings, kid, but we'll meet you at the place, and pretty much throws the shield at Peter. Peter dodges it, and the shield comes back, hitting Peter in the back, almost knocking him out. Cap throws the shield near that little containment unit that fell on Peter and Cannon. Spider-Man picks it up, pretty much chucks it farther, and he's pretty tired after that. So pretty much a couple minutes later, Giant Man appears and pretty much starts, taking down people. Peter, Peter sees this happening and it webs up his feet, doing the same thing that, original Peter did. He gets smacked away the last second into a bunch of crates, and Tony says, to forget it and, chill. And I'll tell Aunt May if you don't. So pretty much he leaves. So pretty much Peter stops and he runs off. So Peter takes this as a challenge and pretty much gets up on his feet. He goes back into, webs off out of the whole entire place, and he sees that Cap and Bucky are getting in the ship, or the plane. So, pretty much, he runs after them, because in this universe, they got to the plane early. I mean, they did get to the plane, but, yet again, Black Widow actually did, betray, so Black Widow took Peter's place, so Peter didn't get, caught, so Peter pretty much, last second, webbed onto, the freaking, the freaking, back of the Quinjet, or the jet that they were on, staying, quiet, and no one saw them. So, also, for the whole entire, how War Machine got paralyzed thing, Spider-Man was there. He was trying to save War Machine, but yet again, he still got shot. So, Peter was there, crying over War Machine with, Tony. So, Peter, was on there, and they get to the whole entire place. They get there, Black Panther follows them, and all other stuff. So, Spider-Man walks in there with Cap and Bucky, and Iron Man follows. Iron Man looks at Peter saying, "Thank you, kid. You kept up with him." Pretty much Peter not saying anything. Peter is confused, and pretty much they get started. So they start explaining to all of them that this is going to be a video. They show them the video of Bucky killing Tony's parents, and Spider-Man actually does, switch sides, because he doesn't want to work for some sort of murderer, because he lost his parents too. So Peter pretty much joins in with Cap, beating up Bucky and Tony. I mean, beating up Bucky and Cap. They go for 1v1s. Bucky at this point is being, throwing punches at Peter. Peter's dodging them, throwing punches at Bucky. Tony jumps in on Bucky, they start double teaming him. Cap throws the shield at Peter's side, pretty much, landing into a different room. I forgot, guys. Kicking each other into a different room through the walls. Cap is confused and says, why are you betraying us? And pretty much Peter says, I'm not working for a murderer. And pretty much grabs Cap's shoulders and throws him through the wall that, they got kicked through. So Peter runs towards Cap, and Cap throws a super soldier punch straight into. So Peter pretty much goes night night and wakes up later. So Peter doesn't get injured at all. He just gets knocked out. So pretty much Cap and Bucky and Iron Man had the same, duel that they had, and it's still the same outcome happens. Pretty much Peter wakes up near the end what was it, Black Panther kills, that guy, and everything else happens after, Peter got knocked out. That's supposed to happen. So, Cap and Bucky and Black Widow go into hiding, along with Wanda and Vision, and also, in this universe, Peter was actually close friends with Vision and Wanda, but we'll get into that later. So pretty much, Peter runs over there to, Tony, and Tony says to help him up. Tony gets helped up by Peter, and pretty much we skip all the way to Infinity War. So, since Infinity War is happening, let's get into it. So basically, Infinity War and all that other stuff. I'm sorry, guys. So basically, we start our story, what happened, and what's going to happen differently if Spider-Man was in the, well, Endgame, was an Endgame. So basically, we started off our story, Peter, pretty much finishing college and becoming a grown adult, getting a job at the Avengers Tower, and basically becoming a full-fledged Avenger. So, pretty much after that, all that happens, they get a little run through what all happened after the Captain America Civil War, and we get a little, quick little story of Peter. Pretty much Peter is, webbing around the city, and pretty much, thinking about Venom. Now, in this universe, after Civil War, 2 months, about a year after Civil War, they released a Spider-Man 4 movie. It was about Spider-Man pretty much fighting the Venom symbiote and becoming, black-suited Spider-Man. Now, guys, you can decide if I should give Spider-Man the black symbiote in Endgame, but yeah. So basically, pretty much Peter or Spider-Man goes to Avengers Tower or Avengers headquarters. That whole tower. Avengers headquarters, where the whatchamacallit, all that thing happens. So basically, they get started and ready and pumped up, and they get started. So basically, Peter isn't really around for any of the rest of the shenanigans that happened in the first part of, you know, Endgame. I mean, Infinity War. So Peter is introduced into Infinity War after he sees the whole entire spaceship land into New York. Spider-Man webs down there next to Hulk and Doctor Strange, Wong, and, of course, Tony. Tony says, to deal with this kid, and pretty much Spider-Man, swoops off. Now, in this movie, Peter has his original Spider-Man 2 outfit on, not his classic one he wore in, Civil War. So he webs over there, and pretty much he gets smacked away like a rag doll by, by, well, friendly neighborhood Dark Order. So Spider-Man gets knocked out in like seconds. He gets back up right before, Doctor Strange is about to go bye-bye into the, he wakes up right before Tony's about to get smushed by a car or by that Dark Order guy. Spider-Man jumps in, grabs the punch or the hammer, whatever, and throws him back. Because in this universe, this version of Spider-Man is a lot more stronger because he's a lot more older. So basically, he starts going 1v1s, punching him in the chest, kicking him in the legs, trying to take him down as fast as possible. Eventually, or Doctor Strange shows up and, takes him away, like, teleports him away, and his hand still gets chopped off because he's trying to go through the portal again. So, Peter goes back to, when, Doctor Strange, we switch back to when Doctor Strange is getting captured and getting fought. So Spider-Man follows them, getting, orders from Tony. Pretty much Spider-Man's following them, flipping them, pretty much following them at all, costs. He eventually, catches up with them into the spaceship, and he doesn't, and he catches up with them in the spaceship, but yet again, he doesn't have any, space thing. So Tony sends him the Super Iron Man suit, or the classic Iron Spider suit. Now, Iron Spider suit looks a lot more different because it's a different build and a different Spider-Man. So basically, Peter gets a suit similar to this, but a suit more similar to the PS4 Spider-Man Iron Spiders. Here, basically, he gets a suit like this, but in MCU style. Basically, it looks exactly like this, but just in, real life. So yeah, so Peter whips off, and he gets, parachuted away by Tony. Tony not, trusting him. Actually, scratch that. Tony does trust him because he's older, and also he's been a part of the Avengers a lot more longer. So Peter does stay with Tony, helping him. So they get into the spaceship. Tony, loses signal with Pepper, and pretty much they start fighting. So basically, get started, and everything goes on to the same. So basically, what was it again? Oh yeah, um, what was it? I think it was uh, sorry, yeah, let me think. So basically, they see the robot or the alien guy in the spaceship torturing Doctor Strange. They get, some ideas, and Peter makes the idea, pretty much, bringing up the Alien movie. So they get started, and pretty much they do the same thing that they did in canon. And the Spider-Man, throws him out of the, pretty much side of the spaceship, seeing that he has mechanical legs now, pretty much, taking them out. So they close the whole entire thing down, and they get started. So basically, they start controlling the ship, and the ship is already on a straight corridor to where Thanos is supposed to, where Thanos is going to be going, Titan. So they go to Titan, and they're waiting there for, pretty much they're waiting there for Thanos. Thanos shows up, and they start fighting. Now, nothing really happened. Nothing different happened with, Thor and in Wakanda by now. So basically, yeah. Cap and, Wanda and Vision are already in Wakanda by now. Basically not, really in real danger. Nothing really changes because Peter isn't there. So, they get started, and pretty much Peter runs over to Thanos off the bat when the plan happens. And pretty much they start ambushing him with the plan. Spider-Man seems a lot more stronger. He actually does dodge Thanos' grab that, he's going to grab, Peter as, because Peter has more, well, more experience being Peter, experience being Spider-Man. So yeah. So he keeps on fighting Thanos left and right. Thanos, sorry guys. He eventually gets, upper hand on Thanos, and they get Thanos, pretty much locked and loaded. Until Peter Quill, the dummy, freaking messes up the plan. So Spider-Man at the last second actually does pull off the gauntlet, and Thanos is out of power for at least a second. Peter gets smacked away like a rag doll, and Thanos gets, his mojo back. Since Peter has the Infinity Gauntlet in his hand, he starts webbing off. But Thanos grabs his foot and pretty much throws him so hard on the ground that he gets knocked out instantly. Even with the super suit, or the Spider-Man Iron Spider suit. So he grabs the Infinity Gauntlet out of, Spider-Man's hands and puts it on his fist the same way. All the same, he pretty much does that whole entire speech. And pretty much everybody's beating up at this point. Iron Man goes in the last second, beating up Thanos, but he still gets smacked away and stabbed. Last second, Doctor Strange is about to give him, his, the time stone, but at the last second, Spider-Man jumps all the way up, pretty much grabbing, Thanos' arm, and pretty much using all of these suits, powers and abilities, and all his abilities, and all his gadgets that he made before he got the Iron Spider suit. Pretty much going on a whole entire fighting speed, like doing this whole entire thing Tony did, pretty much doing a lot more longer because he has superhuman abilities, going crazy, even making a little bit more bruises, and also getting 2 or 3 drops of blood. But it's not enough to stop Thanos, and Thanos pretty much grabs, pretty much starts punching the Iron Spider suit off of Peter, and eventually all that's left is Peter's, Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit, slightly ripped up as well. So basically, Thanos grabs Peter by the throat and says, "You're a good kid, and you're blessed with knowledge. Join me." Spider-Man spits in his face because his mask is slightly open, leaving his face exposed, saying that, "I'll never." And he pretty much Thanos throws him into a pile of rubble, and knocks him out. He gets the time stone, and he, flits away or times away. We skip a couple minutes later, and everybody Wakanda still got folded by you know, Thanos, and pretty much he snaps his fingers, and pretty much everybody's gone. But instead of Spider-Man, getting snapped away, Nebula gets snapped away. So Nebula gets snapped away, and basically, sorry guys, actually, Peter doesn't get snapped away at all. Actually, no one really gets snapped away differently. Peter just, just stays, into the universe. No one takes his place or anything. So Nebula, Peter, and Tony are the only people on Titan left. So I'm gonna leave it off here, guys. So I'll continue part 2 with how we change WandaVision and also Endgame. See you guys later. Bye, deuces, and as always, have a blessed day. So guys, I also have another request for you guys to answer this question in the comments. Now guys, I already asked earlier in this video, do you want to see Peter have the black suited symbiote in Endgame? And also, do you want Peter, do you want Peter to, and also, which team should Peter go to for Endgame when they do the time travel thing? So yeah. So see you guys later. Bye. Deuces, and always have a blessed day. So hope you guys enjoy the what if, and part 3 will be coming as soon as you guys want it. So bye.